This is a advanced lesson on 2-5-1, 2-5-1 chord progressions and playing over those changes in a jazz style, definitely. But this is such an important exercise. I think it's one of the ones that probably helped me more than anything that I've ever done. In terms of doing it in 12 keys and having it just open up the fingerboard. Now, granted, you're going to see me make mistakes most likely. I don't know, depending on how quick my brain's moving today. But just know that a 2-5-1 isn't just a set of chord changes. A 2-5-1 is a tension and release, and especially if you play a 2-5-1 with an alt 5 chord in it, then it creates even greater tension and release to the one. You can play a 2-5-1 over a one static chord. In other words, you can play A minor, D7, D alt to G major over just a G major chord, and it creates a cool, just a beautiful line in many, many different ways. The point here, I'm going to show you, starting the key of C, I'm going to show you the three basic positions that I play this in, and then show you how it's really important to play 2, 5, 5 alt, 1, and then play the 6th chord with the flat 9, which basically is if you just go a half step up from your 1 chord and play a diminished stack or diminished half whole diminished scale, you're going to be, or whole half diminished scale, you're going to have a cool series of changes: 2, 5, 5 alt, 1, 6, and it's like jazzy salty dog changes is what it boils down to. The cool thing about it is, because you're playing a 2-5, you get to do a standard major 2-5 practice. Because you're altering that chord, you're getting to hear the difference between a Mixolydian scale on a 5 chord and an altered scale or a diminished scale. I'm going to use both of those two ideas on the 5 chord. Then you go to a 1 chord. Then you go to an A7 with a flat 9. In other words, I'm going to go D minor, G13, G alt, C major 7 to A7 flat 9. That A7 flat 9 is the 5 chord of your 2, of your D minor. So the A7 flat 9 to D minor is also another 2-5. It's like a 5-1 basically, but in a minor key. But so you're getting a lot of different practice things going on in just this one series of changes. 2.5 minutes in. Skip ahead if I start talking too much. Some of you are going to think I talk too much. Some of you are going to think I talk too little. Some of you are going to think I go too fast. Some of you think I'll go too slow. Granted, this is going to be fast because I'm going to try to fit 12 keys into a lesson. I might have to split it up, but we'll see how it goes. All right, so I'm going to show you key of C, which if you've looked at my old stuff, you probably have seen this before. So I'm going to play it in 3 basic shapes: D minor, G, G alt, C major 7, A7 flat 9. Here's the first one, and here's your D. So here's your D, D9, it's a flat 3, 5, 1, and 9, to G13. Now I'm going to alter that, tritone sub, and there's a beautiful C major 7. One more time. Now, if I turn that C major 7 into a diminished chord, C sharp diminished, that's your A7 flat 9. One more time. Okay, next position, D minor 11 in this case, 5, 1, flat 3, 11, now that's a G9, and we're going to go to the tritone sub, which is the alt, C major 7, C sharp alt, C sharp diminished. One more time. Now, the one variation of this from here, going to this G9, works very nicely too. So some of you might prefer this finger. Okay? Okay, same thing. So now the next one is, that's starting with a D here to a G to a C to an A. Up here is, there's got my D, so I'm going to play D minor, G9, C9, C sharp 9 to C major 7, D minor, G9, D flat or C sharp 9, C major 7, C sharp diminished. Okay, so those are the three things. I'm going to use those same basic ideas in all 12 keys, and I'm going to play what I consider basic pentatonic shapes over those. They're not necessarily straight major pentatonic shapes, but they're shapes that I'm playing that are built off of that same feel in my right and left hands. So as an example, so I've got a diminished pentatonic type shape, something that emphasizes the notes of that diminished scale that we're talking about. Major pentatonic, minor, what I call a dominant pentatonic. I just found out recently, some people call that, jazzers call that a Coltrane pentatonic. I guess because he used it. So one sharp diminished, so you got one C sharp diminished, D minor, G, tritone sub, which is the alt. Okay, so let me just show you. That was the first shape. And the diminished is. You can also play it like this. So again, 2. Okay, that's the first one. Second one, D minor. I'll go to this chord just to give us a little variety. Here's those shapes. 2. 5. 1. I always put a sharp 11 in it. Slide up a half step, diminish. Okay, so that's the second one again. First, second one, third one, and it's going to sound like this, D minor. Or, if you want a wider voicing, this closer voicing would be. So you've got a D minor, G, D flat 7. See the 7 chord? C major 7. And then the C sharp diminished. If you want to play it a little wider, you'll recognize this from the other tapes that I do. That's also D flat 7 with a 9 in it. C, C sharp. That's that other shape of diminished. also play it like that. So again, one more time. And all of you who practice your diminished scales know that any shape you play, move it up a minor third, and you're right there again, playing a different set of notes within the diminished sound. Okay, so that's the key of C. Now let me play for you a little bit over these changes with a. I don't know that you're going to hear the sequence very well. Maybe this is knocking everything over, but here I'm going to play these changes, and you'll hear it in a nice jazzy sound. Here's the changes. Enough of that. But you get the idea how you can mess around with that and have a lot of fun. And basically, I was just playing off the top of my head, and because I've practiced these shapes and sounds so many times, it's like I'm kind of hearing the line in my head as I'm playing along, and it really is improvisational. Though, admittedly, it is absolutely 100%. It all comes from some things that I've practiced before, not necessarily. Well, with me, definitely not from learned solos from other players and things like that. I don't like quoting other players. I don't like learning a solo and playing a solo. And I think maybe that's more deficiency in me than it is in anything else. But for me, what I try to do is I try to become in tune with the instrument to the point where I understand the music, and then I just play. And that has always been my goal. I don't want to be regurgitating something that somebody else has done. I want to be coming up with something that I'm playing on my own. And it's fun. It's a heck of a lot of fun. Okay, so now that was the key of C. Let's now really quickly blast through the circle of fifths. We're going to go up a fourth each time. Next time we're going to go, so we're going to go be in the key of F. Here's your one chords. So you've got one. We're going to do the same thing. We've got a 2-chord G minor, C, tritone sub, alt, 1, half step up, diminished. So you've got F major 7, there's your key, 2 G minor, C7, G flat 7, F major 7, F sharp diminished, which is your 6th chord. Yeah. Okay. These shapes are the same. On the 2-chord, I'm going 5-chord, tritone sub, 1. So that's one of the shapes. Here's the next one, G minor, same chords, same chord shapes we were using in the key of C. 2, 5, tritone sub, 1, diminished. So you can play over that just as easily as you can play over the key of C. Next shape up, G minor to C, tritone sub, 1, G minor, same shapes we were using before, G minor, C, tritone sub, 1, half step up, diminished. Okay, that's F, B flat. Here's our key centers. C minor. Tritone sub. 2, 5. That again is shoot, where am I? Now we'll go C minor way up here. You can actually play that down here. So you can play that up here or down there. Okay, that's B flat. E flat. So down here we'll start with F minor, E flat, E7. Did I say E flat minor? Did I say F minor? We're in E flat, whatever I said. We're in E flat major. So F minor, E flat, there's your E7, that's your tritone sub, E flat, E diminish, E flat, and then E diminished, F diminished. Let me do that again. E diminished. E flat. So you got F minor, F minor, F minor, F minor, E flat 9, tritone sub 1. Okay, so that's the key of E in 3 positions. I did do 3, right? That's key E flat in 3 positions. Good grief. Right. So now A, start here, B minor. B minor. B to B flat, 7, 9, in this case 13. B minor. E. B flat 7. Okay. A. It's B minor. E. And where are we going next? To B flat. A. Okay. Okay. Last A1 is B minor. Right? Okay, D. I'm going to start, you can start here, which is that E minor, A to E flat 7, D major 7, A7. To the E flat 7. Wrong. Yeah, so where the hell am I? That's one of them. Here's the next one. Or E minor, A7, A alt, D. Half step up. E minor, A. Let's go this way. E minor, A7, that's your E flat 7, D, major 7. Once again. Okay, D, G, which, you know, this should be the most obvious one to everybody. I'm just going to go really fast through this one. A minor to D to G, A minor, D to G, A minor, D to G. So you got A. That's those three positions. Okay, G. Did I go through all those keys? We did C, F, B flat, E flat, A flat, B flat. Did I skip A flat? I think I skipped A flat. I think I went straight to the other keys. I'm going to go in and show you A flat and D flat and G flat because I think I skipped those. So A flat. Here's your first position. Right? B minor, E flat, A7, A major 7, A diminished. Next one. B flat. B flat. B flat. E flat. A7. A flat. A diminished. D flat. I think I got all three of those. Yeah. D flat. E flat. So E flat, A flat, D, E flat, D7, D diminished. D flat, we go to E flat. That's your A flat. D, D flat, D diminished. E flat, E flat. Do I want to do this? Let's just do that. E flat, A flat, D7, D flat, D diminished. So E flat. Okay, so E flat, A flat, D flat, D diminished. E flat, A flat, D flat, D diminished. E flat, A flat, D7, D flat, D diminished. Okay. D flat, G flat, okay. we'll do the stock here. A flat, D flat 7, G flat, G diminished, A flat, D flat 7, G7, G major, G diminished, A flat, D flat, D flat. Now let's do this one. Yeah. Shoot. Let's do that one. Doing a very good job on this one. So G flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, no, A flat, D flat, G7, G flat, G diminished, A flat, D flat, G7, G flat, G diminished. One more. Let's do, we did this, this, and then we'll do this. A flat, D7, A flat minor, D flat 7, 2, G7, G flat 7. G diminished. Okay, so I think I covered all those. I might have missed the key of B. C sharp minor, F sharp 7, C7, B major 7, right? C sharp minor, F7, C7, B major 7, C7. Oh no, I did that. No, I didn't. Yeah, I did that in B flat, didn't I? Yeah. So this is C sharp minor, F sharp 7, to C7, to B major 7, right? And then, which I just showed you. And then this one, C sharp minor, F7, C7, B major 7, C diminished. So all those things, all those going through the circle exercises are just amazingly helpful. As you can see, I got rusty on those flat keys, but when you play them enough, sometimes I'll take one a day and just work on that set of changes all day long. And then sometimes I'll take, I'll run them through them all in one deal. A lot of times I'll just pick a set of changes and jam over them for a while, and usually I'll try to pick the keys that I'm lesser familiar with. So I spend a lot of time playing in A flat and D flat and G flat and B and things like that that are just different keys that we don't normally hit. I hope it wasn't too terribly convoluted. I know it's a long lesson. Split it up if you want to and practice them, but I can't tell you how strongly I recommend playing through the circle, all 12 keys, 2, 5, 5 alt, 1, 6 dominant, 7 flat, 9. And that is just a great exercise. Actually, you know what? I might take just a second, and I'm going to play through those. I'll say what they are, and then I'm just going to play linear things through all 12 keys. just so you can see that you actually can do it. I'll start with C. F. B flat. E flat. A flat. D flat. G flat. B. Oh, sorry. E. Let's do. D. Did I skip keys? I probably did the same thing. Anyway, you get the idea. Goodbye. Have fun.